So Chris, we'll move into the second part of this meeting.
Okay.
We've gone over so far, just to go back, we went over the language of real estate. It shows how much you're outproducing the market by, which is really cool. The local market statistics that show that we as an office are outproducing our closest competitor 2-1. The PowerPoint that sort of gave you the history of KW, the culture, our training, and then we just went for a quick office tour. So now, what I'd like to do is step out of a Keller Williams role and step really into the coach and consultant role.
Okay.
And sort of look at you and get to know you a lot better and
Yeah.
really focus in on your business, your happiness, your fulfillment. Is that cool?
Okay.
All right, great. So first, tell me about your family and what you do for fun.
Well, I have 2 kids, 12-year-old and a 4-month-old. I'm married. We live here in Chester County, and for fun, I do a lot of outdoor stuff. I like working out, hunting, fishing, coaching, traveling whenever I can, but those are the main things I like to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Did you grow up in Chester County?
I grew up in Delaware County. I grew up in media, 2 parents, working class people, 2 older brothers in the service, graduated
Thank
from
you
the
for your
service.
service, by the way.
Yeah. And, I went to Pencrest High School, so I'm a Delco kid at heart.
Okay.
But I moved out here. I've been in Westchester for about 12 years, and then just recently moved to Phoenixville. Been there for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. What did you do prior to getting into real estate? What
I
were
was in
some-
sales positions. I worked with some Fortune 50 companies, Verizon Business, Cisco, Foods. Years ago, I sold cars, so I was always in a sales role. Did some small entrepreneurial startups here and there, just to kind of see what that would be like, to be on my own eventually. But, when I had my first child, I just went the safe route with, 40 hours and a paycheck and benefits and all that. And I was never happy with that. And I always knew I wanted to do this. I was, got my license, or I did the courses back in 2000. That was right before my daughter was born. And so, like I said, I went the safe route, and now here I am, finally made a decision to make the transition.
Nice, man. And what's it been like for you going from employee to entrepreneur?
It's been everything I've wanted. There's been highs and lows, no doubt about it. But it's been, I'll tell you what I've really been looking for has been, some help really with guidance and a structure to help my business grow to the levels that I have imagined it to be. And that's kind of always been lacking. I've been bouncing up against the walls and figuring out a lot of things on my own, and that brings about stress that I'm ready to be rid of completely. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a lot of business, and we'll get into the business as well. You're doing a lot of business, it seems like, the last few years, right around between $7 and $11 million.
Yeah.
11 being your highest year. Great, and we'll definitely get back to that. So, give me an idea. Why did you wanted to? You just talked about it a little bit. Make the change from an employee to a real estate agent. Why did you choose real estate?
It always made sense to me. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad had properties, and I remember when I was a kid, he actually, one of the first ones he bought was in Westchester, back when the Eagles used to practice at Westchester University, and he used to take me over there and help me, I used to help him manage the property. And I remember I was a kid, I was maybe 7 or 8, and he said, or I asked him, I said, well, whose property is this? And he says, well, it's ours. I said, but we don't live here. He said, no, well, people pay us to live here. And I said, oh. And ever since then, it just made sense to me. Like, we're collecting money off someone paying us to live in a house that we own. And ever since then, the seed was planted, and I knew that it was always something I wanted to have my hand in one shape or form, one way or another.
And how old were you then?
I was about 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was 8 years old. Yeah.
So give me an idea, looking, what would you be looking for in a company? And again, if I'm sitting in a coaching consultative role, and you're looking for the perfect company, and you may already be there, I don't know that, and that's fine, but what would that perfect company look like for you, for Chris?
It's going to give me the resources that I need to grow the business that I want to grow to the level that I want to grow it to.
Okay.
And
So
you
with
gotta
that, it sounds like, and tell me if I'm wrong, that there's something that might be missing a little bit, like in your, as it relates to your business, either And usually it's either time or money or peace of mind, or give me an idea, just one or two things.
Probably some peace of mind and time.
Okay.
Yeah, peace of mind and time.
Whenever I hear something that
Mm-hmm.
sounds real important to you, I'm just going to jot that down.
Yeah, that's okay.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
And I know that you're operating as a full-time agent,
Mhm.
obviously. If you were doing a 7 to 11 million as a part-time, wow. So I want to ask you, if there was 4 people, and I know that I sent you a real neat behavioral assessment. We're
Right.
waiting for the results for that to get back. But if I were to describe 4 types of people, and there is no right or wrong here, just listen to the description and then tell me which one you think Chris most aligns with. So the first is results oriented. They're going after it, they're getting it. Sometimes they leave some destruction behind them, but man, they're getting to the finish line.
Right.
That's person number 1. Person number 2 is more like the life of the party. When you enter a room, you hear his or her voice first. Usually they have a group of people around them. That's person number 2. Person number 3 is sort of like the employee. They want to know when they're working, what their hours are, when their vacations are, what their pay is, when their breaks are. And if they're taken off of that structure, they tends to, upset them a bit.
Right.
And then there's the 4th person that is like a surgeon, very precise, detail-oriented, so detail-oriented they almost look at it like everything is life or death, where every T has to be crossed, every I has to be dotted, and then they go back and triple check that.
Right.
So out of those 4 descriptions, who do you think you fit most?
Well, as you were describing the first one, I didn't want you to continue talking.
Okay, gotcha. You could have told me to shut up. All right, so you're all D. And if there is there a close second?
I'd say probably the second one. I do like people.
Okay.
I like to be around people. Yeah.
Excellent. Beautiful. Okay. So who do you count on for guidance? Who do you go to for personal or business guidance? Do you have a coach? Have you had coaches in the past? Do you count on family members? Do you count on a little bit of both? Tell me a little bit about that.
I guess for guidance in business, there are people that I respect in our business that I consult with. There hasn't been anyone that I've really depended on for helping me set a course of action, and staying on it. I know other business owners that I work with, that I've networked with, and from a business operations perspective, we sort of, communicate with one another how we're doing and what we plan to do. But that's pretty much it for business, and that's where the peace of mind comes in, because I'm constantly trying to find things out on my own, and I suffer a lot of hardships as a result, and I think I waste a lot of time as the result too. So, personal, I have a great family, and I have great friends, so I can go to them for just about anything, with the exception of, a lot of business stuff, because they don't understand the business, but anything personal, that's what I go to.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. We look forward 12 months from now, and let's just say you and I work together on some capacity of helping you free up, some time and get that peace of mind. With that, and I know you had a great year this year, as far as just so I know where to start and work backwards from if I'm coaching you, give me an idea of the money you'd like to earn in the next 12 months. I know this year you're probably right around 300,000, something like that. So give me an idea. 2015, what's your income going to look like?
If I could do that same GCI around 300,000, which was my best year, and make it more efficient in the process, that would be great.
Okay.
That would be great. If I could lean down my operations, it's not all about the money. The money will come if the process is there. So for me, it's about having a clean process, and the growth will come from that. So if I could maintain that while I adjust my process, I know that 2016, it could be double that, or more. But that's what I'm looking for this year. It's just more efficiency.
Excellent.
and to keep the production the same, at least the same, as my highest year. Yeah.
So I'll introduce you to some agents, Lauren Dickerman, Dave
Mhm.
Ash, CJ and Beth Stein, the Stein Realty Group,
Mhm.
that since them incorporating our models, that they weren't really used to, they've achieved exactly that, where
Mhm.
maybe one year they're not earning more income, but
Right.
what they're doing is they're working, they may not be working nights or weekends.
Right.
Their life becomes, and their business becomes much more efficient.
Right.
Which allows them to work on their business, where maybe the next year is when
Right.
you see the big jump. So
Right.
we can work
Right.
together on that stuff. So tell me about your proudest moment of your life, whether it's business or personal, or let it shoot, man. What's the proudest moment?
I don't know. I don't know what the proudest moment was. I can tell you one of the happiest moments was when I was, I guess, 11 years old, and my oldest brother was deployed overseas. And I remember he was coming home on one particular day, and a friend of mine and I were at our neighbor's house playing basketball, waiting for him to come home, because we knew he was going to be home within this 2-hour frame. And so we were up there, and we were playing in our neighbor's driveway, shooting hoop, and every car that came down the street, we'd stop and look and see if it was his car, because we knew he just bought this brand new Chevy Z24 Cavalier convertible. It was like the coolest car, well, at least it was for us. And so finally we saw the car coming down the road, and I tore ass down the street right into my house, and he was getting out of the car, and I ran down the driveway, gave him the biggest hug of my life. It was the happiest moment of my life. I'll never forget it.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's neat.
He
Sounds
was
like
still
he's your
alive and
hero.
safe. My older brothers were my biggest heroes growing up. 2 of them, without a doubt. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
So and I know you're limited with time, and,
Yeah.
and I know, I want to hear more about your life story. It sounds like you've had a lot of life experiences, and we'll get to that, definitely. But if I were to ask you about our meeting today, like what's most important to you? What do you want to get? What's the most thing you want to get out of today? Or another way to ask that even is like, why are we meeting? Like, why did you agree to meet with me? And you can ask me any question you want.
I heard that I could find what I needed in order for me to reach the goals by making a transition. I heard that there were some really good systems, some really good models that have helped some really good agents grow. I mean, there's been a lot of overflow from agents in the area coming here for one reason or another. And so that's why I'm here. So the purpose of the meeting is to see if you can give me what I need so my business can grow, or if the systems are there, if they're actually there. That's really the point. It's that simple. It's just
So it sounds like you did some homework, you interviewed some agents that have already moved
Yeah,
here.
well,
Okay.
and plus some agents that I worked with came over, that I respected, and others that, weren't the top producers, but they were good people, and they were looking for something more. And so I figured I'd find out what's going on here, because I know I need a change in one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, so you mentioned something that I want to talk to you about is something that we are really good at here, and it's helping agents build teams. Were you an athlete when you were a kid? I think I remember you saying you played football.
Yeah, a little bit.
So if we looked at the way that we build teams here, is we literally take the players that happen to be real estate agents that are quarterbacks and put them at the quarterback position. Now, we know that a typical quarterback, typically the good ones, are a certain size, can throw a ball a certain way, can lead a team. They typically are fairly quick, or at least a little mobile, let's say a little more athletic than a nose guard maybe, although they're all athletic now. You get my point.
Sure.
So helping you put a team together like that'll make your business and life much more efficient, that's what we're really good at, and I think you've already found that out.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that.
So it sounds like to me that if you found today just something that really jived, are you ready to